Good evening, everyone. So today we have Mr. Shivender Nagar. He is the faculty at KK Modi University. Good evening, sir. So my first question to you is, being a faculty of KK Modi University, what are your roles and responsibilities towards the students and the organization?
Now, my role is simple, is to teach. Nothing more, nothing less. I am here a teacher, I should teach. I enjoy teaching and it's my passion. Now, my responsibility to a teacher is a very big word. I have one responsibility, and that responsibility that I should do my action with the total sequence. My class, when I'm in the classroom, I should be 100% in my classroom. As I expect from my students, that they should be 100% in classroom. So my responsibility role toward my student is that I should give my 100% to student and toward organization. KK Modi organization is some organization which value this mindful living and Bhagavad Gita and management concept, because very rarely you find a university who's teaching Bhagavad Gita and management. We need it. We really need this type of courses in all over India. मैं हमेशा कहता हूँ दुनिया की सबसे बड़ी गलती हुई है भगवद गीता भारत से आई है. यही भगवद गीता अमेरिका, यूरोप, जर्मनी से आई होती तो आज पूरी दुनिया में गीता क्रैश कोर्सेज शुरू हो जाती. So Gita teaches us how do you handle mind. Vivekananda ji said, control your mind, you control the world. Manage your mind, you manage the world. So my responsibility towards student is to teach mindful living, mind management. And toward KK Modi organization, I'm indebted to them that they are bringing this type of knowledge to the youngsters.
Thank you so much, sir. That explains a lot. Even during my time at IIM, so we do have a course in management lessons from Bhagavad Gita. So we do had a course there in the final semester of MBA. So it was a great.
My vision in organization, or my vision how to create this, trying to achieve, is something very simple. Very simple vision. It's not high funda philosophy. My vision is that India need a strong intellect. India need a mind where you are able to handle your emotions. I'm not just teaching in a classroom, I'm teaching for a life. When you go to your office, when you go to the family, maximum heart attacks happens on a Monday morning. Maximum heart attacks happens on a Monday morning because nobody enjoys their job. Everybody wait for Friday night, not for Monday morning. After Corona, before Corona, it was like this. Now people want to go to office. Now, we should have a passion, whatever you do. Whatever you do in life, your passion should be a profession. And that's what my vision is. That's what my purpose is. And how do you trying to achieve it? I follow, like Bhagavad Gita says, whatever the leader does, others follow. So I have a vision, and I introduce this idea to my students that you should enjoy your life. You should not wait for Friday night, wait for Monday morning.
Exactly. So my third question is, how do you try to bring in practical approach towards subjects like Bhagavad Gita and make it an industry-oriented subject?
Practical approach is not something which is taught in our schools, college, unfortunately. We are not taught practical approach. We are just memorizing. मैं हमेशा कहता हूँ जो सबसे अच्छी उल्टी करता है उसके सबसे अच्छे नंबर वो ज्यादा प्रोग्रेस करता है. सारा साल हम पढ़ते रहते और लास्ट डे में यू वॉमिट, एंड व्हेन यू वॉमिट, जो सबसे अच्छी वॉमिट करता है उसको अच्छे नंबर मिल जाते हैं. आपने 7th में सिविक्स पढ़ी थी अरुण जी? सिविक्स पढ़ी थी, कितनी याद है? If I ask the Constitution of India, how many things you will remember? Do you remember what you studied about Russia? लेकिन अब मेरे अच्छे नंबर आए थे. क्यों? क्योंकि मेमोराइज करी एंड वॉमिटेड. This is not the Bhagavad Gita. Bhagavad Gita teach how to develop intellect. It's like a diabetic patient. Diabetic patient का मन करता है मीठा खाने का, his intellect says no. So there's a fight between the mind and emotions or head के बीच में fight है. This is the Bhagavad Gita. Emotion should not power your discretion. Emotion, you should have emotion, but don't be emotional. You should have sentiment, but don't be sentimental. So my approach in the classes is to develop your intellect. Buddhi nasha pranashyati. If you develop your buddhi, you are Buddha. If you don't develop your buddhi, you are a Buddha.
Exactly, rightly said. So my fourth question for you is, with so many years of teaching experience, what is the best advice you can give it to the upcoming young generations?
My advice to young generation is don't stop asking questions. Don't stop asking questions, because a good student should have three qualities. Whatever you want to learn, whatever you want to learn, chemistry, physics, biology, mathematics, management, anything, a good student should have three qualities. First is, this is Bhagavad Gita. First is Shraddha Bhav, a faith or a belief that somebody who's teaching you knows more than you. Second quality of a good student is a Seva Bhav, attitude of service. But the most paramount, the most important quality of a good student is Prashnen Bhav, freedom to question. Why? So आपके घर में सबसे ज़्यादा क्वेश्चन कौन पूछता है? छोटा बच्चा. क्यों पूछता? Because there is a, you say inquisitive. No, he believes that you have the answer. और जब आपसे क्वेश्चन करने बंद कर लें तो समझ लेना उसे समझ आ गया, अब आपको कुछ नहीं आता. Then you ask question, यार इसको अपलोड कैसे करते हैं, इसको डाउनलोड कैसे करते हैं? So questioning is most important aspect of mindful living, and the Gita talks about questioning, prashnena, freedom to question. So my advice to young generation is don't take things for granted, because वक्त के गर्भ में क्या छुपा है nobody knows. Nobody realize कि 2 साल we will be grown. वक्त के गर्भ में क्या छुपा है we don't know. So don't stop asking questions. Freedom to question is a very, very important quality for a student. And the day you stop questioning, then you are not a student.
Exactly. So my next question to you is, how do you tend to establish a healthy relationship and environment in your institution, that is KK.
Healthy relation is that the kids who join my class should enjoy. In my class, I don't want a boring class. We have 4 hours session in KK University. You know, it's 9 o'clock to sometime 9 to 1. 4-5 hours you are together, and I don't want my classes should be boring. So I bring lots and lots of examples. So my environment in a classroom is, people should miss a class. If they miss the class, they should feel, oh my God, I missed my class. That's what my approach is. I don't want to give lots of theory, lots of logic, lots of reason. Because this Gita for mindful living is not just for numbers. I tell my student, I will give you excellent marks. That's not a question. But are you able to handle your emotions? You know, Arun, in India, 29% increase were PhDs. Do you know what is PhDs? Post-honeymoon divorce syndromes. Post-honeymoon divorce, 27% increase हुआ. Honeymoon में जाते हैं, they have come back and they say, we are not compatible. 4-5 साल they are dating with each other, and then they realize we are not compatible. And they are not illiterate, uneducated person. Why? So this knowledge of mindful living in the Gita, through Bhagavad Gita, is not for a job or a profession and career. The last question I will give you the most important point of this discussion. So my purpose of this class is not to give you salary good package. How do you handle your relationship? How do you handle your co-worker? How will you handle your wife? How will you handle your kids? You may have a good package, but if you don't know how to handle relationship, if your wife and the husband is going on in a huge tension is in house, will you be able to work properly in your home, in your office? Forget it. Forget it. So no university teaches you how to handle emotion. And in this class, we teach you how to handle emotion, and then सदियों के लिए, जैसे वो है ना सदियों के लिए knowledge है, not only for 1 year knowledge. Yes.
Exactly. So, my next question is, what are some of the biggest challenges you see both for the scope of Bhagavad Gita in general and for KK Modi University specifically?
The biggest challenge I feel is the preconceived notion about Bhagavad Gita. People think it's an after retirement subject. After retirement, when you are retired, when you are good for nothing, then you should study Bhagavad Gita. Go back to Bhagavad Gita. Arjun was a warrior, well qualified. In the last moment of his profession career, he collapsed. And Bhagavan gave him a knowledge how to handle emotions. How to handle emotion. So biggest challenge that I have is, or any teacher but my name have, is to create an interest value that Bhagavad Gita is for youth. Bhagavad Gita for youngsters. It's not an after retirement, post-retirement plan. It just teaches us. So biggest challenge I have is to introduce Bhagavad Gita for youngsters. Oldie goldies are very happy in enjoying Bhagavad Gita. But that's not, Arjun was not the oldie goldie. He was a young boy ready to fight. And KK Modi University, I appreciate because it was a big challenge to introduce Bhagavad Gita into modern life. Because the students will not be so, who want to study Bhagavad Gita. But we introduced it and the result is incredible, incredible. You ask any student who studied KK Modi University, the mindful living, he will tell you.
Okay, sir. So my next question to you is, how do you help your students cope up with the competition being so high in the outside world?
There is no competition. You have one person competition and that's yourself. दुनिया में कहीं पे भी शहद की बूंद शहद पड़ाओ चींटियां आ जाएंगी. जहां पे भी मीठे पानी की लेक हो, people will take a water. अपने आप को strong होना. This fear, how competition. There's no competition. There's only one person you have to compete. It's yourself, and that's your laziness. That's your lethargy. And lethargy is the biggest competition that you have to do. And because sattva is in the morning, the best time is in the morning, sattvic time. We don't utilize it. And if you use early morning study, competition will not be there. You take any evolved individual that gets up early in the morning, maybe the actors or a politicians, you will never find late Latif, Sust. So, biggest, how do you help students to cope with competition? You develop your intellect. And I guarantee you, this is the guarantee from the Bhagavad Gita. Yatra Yoga, the last verse of the Bhagavad Gita says, the Yatra Yogeshwara Krishna Yatra Parthu Dhanurthara Tatra Shri Vijaya Achalani Tirvibhutir Mama. Wherever this Bhagavad Gita is, there is a Shri. Shri means prosperity, power, growth. LIC का स्लोगन क्या है? LIC का स्लोगन क्या है? Yoga Kshemam Vahamyam. Chapter 9, verse number 22, Bhagavad Gita. Chapter 9 verse. So it gives you peace, prosperity. And once you have the peace and prosperity, competition is a second. And competition is not something which you discard. Suppose मैं छोटे बच्चे के साथ टेनिस खेलता हूँ. छोटे बच्चे के and इसे 6 love से टेनिस में लगाता हूँ. Will I be very happy? Now, if मैं बोरिस बेकर से खेलता हूँ, महेश भूपति से खेलता हूँ और उससे 6-5 से हार जाता हूँ, what will happen? I will have sense of achievement. प्रॉब्लम्स आएंगी, challenges आएंगी. मैं हमेशा कहता हूँ ECG देखिए, up and down ECG में चाहिए. You want up and down in ECG or want a straight line? Do you want ups and down in life or you want a straight life? Life means up and down. Problems आएंगी, challenges आएंगी, issues आएंगी. And that's what I teach. I teach how to handle emotions. Last question.
Exactly, sir. So my last question to you is, what valuable advice would you like to the students for them to have a prosperous career ahead?
The most valuable advice I will tell them is pick up a Lakshmi. You know who's the goddess of wealth in Hinduism? Goddess of wealth is a Lakshmi. The root word for a Lakshmi is the Lakshya, goal. The moment you have a goal in your life, you become energetic. Our mind, सूरज की रोशनी की तरह, सूरज की रोशनी को एक डायरेक्शन दे तो पावर आ जाती है, ऊर्जा आ जाती है. विंड हमारा दिमाग, विंड को एक एनर्जी दे दो, एक डायरेक्शन दे दो, विंड एनर्जी बन जाती है. So pick up a goal, लक्ष्य in your life. लक्ष्मी आपके पांव दबाए, ये गारंटी है. Pick up a goal. And लक्ष्मी की साड़ी हमेशा लाल, means action करो. गीता talks about yoga karma sukoshla. So pick up a goal in your life. Dedicate yourself to that goal. Pick up a goal. And लक्ष्मी की सवारी क्या है? लक्ष्मी की सवारी है उल्लू. Ullu symbolize laziness. So my advice to youngster is get up from your laziness. Pick up a goal in life. लक्ष्य बनाइए. लक्ष्मी आपके पांव दबाएगी. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much, sir, for taking out time from your schedule and coming over here. We were pleased to have you here, and thank you so much.